Good evening, everyone. We want to welcome you to our second night of our Viking webinar series. We are just letting people log in, and we will begin our presentation in approximately 2 minutes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Maville. I'm the Digital Marketing Manager here at AAA. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's webinar. We're very excited to have Viking with us once again for our second night in a row. I'd like to introduce you to Megan, who is our MC for the evening, and she'll kind of take us through tonight's presentation, along with Donna from Viking.
Thanks, Jeremy. Welcome, everyone. As Jeremy mentioned, we are so excited to have you all join us this evening. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Meg Horn. I'm one of the travel sales managers here at AAA Northeast. I am joined by my colleague, Stacy Crowley, as well as our fantastic partner, Donna Nightingale from Viking River Cruises. So first off, just some quick housekeeping rules. Everyone is muted on this call. However, it is interactive, so we welcome questions so that you can participate. And just so you know where that is, there is a little Q&A text box for you if you hover over the two boxes with the question marks. So you can go ahead in there and shoot in some questions if you have any throughout the presentation. Stacy is going to be kind of monitoring that for us. So should you have questions throughout the presentation, she will answer that. And then at the end, if there's any other questions, we can have Donna assist as well. And then let's see. As Jeremy mentioned, this is the second of our three-part Viking series. So last night we covered the Mississippi and the Great Lakes and some of their new and exciting exploration product that Viking's going to be offering. And tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we will have a ocean cruise presentation as well. So on behalf of everyone here at AAA Northeast, we are so glad you could join us and our trusted travel partner, Viking River Cruise. Donna is a wealth of knowledge, and I know she's going to spark that travel flame in all of you. So with that, I'm going to hand it on over to Donna, and she's going to get us going with the presentation. Enjoy, everyone.
Right. Thank you, Meg. Thanks, Jeremy and Stacy. Nice to be here, and thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. I hope you're all doing well during this crazy time and staying healthy. And thank you to AAA for inviting me to do this webinar. And we did one last night on the new Mississippi River and the Great Lakes cruises. And then we were discussing all the other itineraries and thought it'd be great to just do another one tonight on the rivers of Europe. So I thought we would do that tonight. Just to give you a little background on me, if you weren't on last night, I'm the Director of Business Development for Viking, and I've been here for 9 years now after having worked in the world of big cruise ships for over 20 years. And about 10 years ago, I went on a river cruise on the Danube and fell in love with small ship cruising. And so I had to change jobs because I really wanted to be involved in this type of travel. So tonight we will go and talk about the rivers. I'm sitting here on Cape Cod, which is actually pretty nice out today. But it's very nice to dream about Europe. And Europe is my passion. It always has been. And so I'm very pleased to always talk about this. So first of all, we're going to have a map of the world of Viking on the rivers of Europe. We are all through Europe. We're on the Rhine, the Danube. We're up in the Netherlands, France, Portugal, a little bit into Spain, and then we are in Russia, China, Vietnam, and Egypt. One thing that's interesting about Viking is we are a little different than most major cruise lines that you know. Our focus is the destination, the culture, and the small ship experience. Our philosophy, no matter what ship you're on, and if you happen to tune in last night, you heard this, but no matter what ship you're on with us, if you're on a river ship, an ocean ship, the Mississippi, the Arctic, the Antarctic, it's all the same. We have a philosophy at our company, and it's consistent across the fleet. We won't be everything to everyone. We know that. We're good with it. We focus on English speaking so that we have one language on the ship. Mature people is really who we tend to attract, and people with curious minds that are interested in history, culture, art, geography. And we are a highly inclusive product, so we don't nickel and dime you, and we're very efficient, and we hire the best staff in the cruise industry. They're amazing. We tend to be the thinking person's cruise, and part of that is that we have a really nice lecture series on our ships. And the crowd that we have loves these lectures. So they can be anything from information on the history of Europe or cooking class, anything. It's very different. It might be a music class, whatever. It's just always different and interesting to go to. And before you go, we have information for you on our website, videos. We have suggested reading. So if there's something that you might want to learn before you go, so that when you're there, you're all ready to go and know exactly what you want to see. So we have activities on the ship and onshore. And we have more than 2 decades of expertise. So just in case you didn't know, we started 23 years ago. We actually started in Russia, which is the oddest place to start. And as our owner said, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. So we started there, and that's a long story. But then our owner decided, wouldn't it be great to move this product into Europe? And that was like 23 years ago when this whole thing started. So by moving it into Europe, he thought we could put this product on the Rhine and the Danube and start there. We would build new ships, and we would then do some marketing in the US to introduce this to everyone. So that's when we started mailing your house twice a day with brochures. And that way everyone would know who we are and what we are. So I think that's been really good. We are just known as the small ship experts. That's what we do. That's our focus. But part of that means that we have more time in port, and we try to overnight on the embarkation and debarkation ports. So, and on top of that, we're in port almost every single day of your cruise. We own and operate our ships, and as a matter of fact, we really try to buy up every dock we can so that we know exactly where you'll be docked. You're not down the river across the way taking taxis in and out of town. So that's just another focus that we have. I tend to think there's a great way to look at this. If you look, the rivers were really the original highways, and all these great cities and towns were built along the rivers. And I think that these little beautiful ships can pull right into the center of town, and it's just a nice way to travel and to see things. So you can just walk right on and off the ship. We have award-winning service. Where the employer of choice. We have a 97% return rate every year with our crew, and that's very, very high in the industry. So I always think this is really fun. All the things that we are not. We do not have casinos. We don't have rock climbing walls or ice skating rinks or bowling alleys. We don't have kids. We start at 18 and up. So we're a little different than every other cruise line in the industry as far as what we offer on the ships. And here is exactly what we offer. And again, if you're on the river ships, the ocean ships, wherever, it's the same on all of our ships across all of our products. We include a shore excursion in each port led by a knowledgeable guide. We also have Quiet Fox receivers. This is a receiver with an earbud so that you can sync up to your tour guide and hear them. At the end of the day, you just bring that back to your stateroom, charge it, and bring it again the next day. That way, you know, if you're walking down the street, you don't have to be right on their heels, or if you were in a cathedral, they weren't yelling. All the meals on board, breakfast, lunch, dinner, early rise or croissants, snacks, always included. Bottled water is included. Wi-Fi is included. We even have laptops on the ship. Wine, beer, and soft drinks with lunch and dinner. Specialty coffees and all the port charges, government taxes, and all of that extra stuff is all included in the price. So there's no extras. When we're talking about the shore excursions, we like to have a focus on the local life, the working world, and privileged access. So we do show you the highlights of the area that you're in, but we really want to show you some other things to make it feel like a more immersive experience. So just to give you a few ideas on what we do, if you were in Cologne, Germany, this is one of my favorites. They make over 400 types of beer, and you probably should try them all. So you can, we have a tour at night, and I call it a pub crawl, but you can go out. We have a tour guide, and they take you out to try different beers. It also includes dinner at this really amazing restaurant right in Cologne, Germany. Another thing that we would do is you can go to the Budapest to the thermal spas. That's kind of almost historic there and legendary. Another thing that we do is we do home visits, and we take you to people's houses so you can really see how they live and learn about their life and meet their kids and their dog and just see how they decorate, which is the part I really, really like. I have had the nicest experiences doing the home visits. I found them really enlightening, and I think those are always a highlight of my trips. The working world is very nice. We have outside of Amsterdam in Kinderdijk, the windmills. There's like 19 windmills right there in this one spot, and we take you into a working windmill, and that's such a big part of their history. Another one that we do that my husband really loved was we went, they had a tour over to the Mercedes factory, and he did that one and loved it, and they gave him a sample. I'm just kidding on that one. But he loved it, and I really didn't have an interest, so I went and did something else. So we're really trying to have something for everyone. And then privileged access, you could spend the afternoon with the Vienna Boys Choir, and that's very special. I've done that. It's fascinating to learn about their life and how they live, and to hear them sing, of course. So that's just some things that we try to do, a few examples to really make this a more special experience. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a video series on our website. So if you wanted to get some cultural insights, you could have some recipes, language lessons, that's all on there. Pretty much the person who does most of our video series is Karina Hagen. She's our owner's daughter. She's the beautiful blonde you see in all of our videos and our commercials on TV. And she's as lovely as she is beautiful. We've won pretty much every award that exists. Condé Nast. We've won the luxury awards for the river ships and the ocean ships, and everything else. So I won't go into all of them, but we've even won Architectural Digest. Who knew? And now I thought I would just talk about some of the cruises. I thought it might be fun to see some of the cruises that we do. I can't go through all of them because we have quite a few, but I thought it'd be nice to highlight a few to give you an idea of where we go. So the first one I'll show you is our most popular 8-day cruise. This is #1 most popular 8-day. And this is the Rhine Getaway. This is the one where you'll see most of the castles in the middle Rhine. So this one is Amsterdam to Basel, Switzerland, or vice versa. The ships go both directions, and you can extend on either end. If you wanted a couple extra nights in Amsterdam, which I hope you would do because there's so much to do in Amsterdam, they have, I think, 400 museums or something like that. It's crazy, and there's so many beautiful things to see there. And there's always, of course, the Anne Frank house. So there's just a lot to do, canal rides. And then in Basel, on the other end, if you want, you could spend 2 nights in Basel, or you could go over to Lucerne. And that you could then go up into the Alps 10,000 feet, which is spectacular. And then the other option is you could go over to Lake Como for 3 nights, and that includes lunch with George Clooney and the twins. Just kidding on that one too, just kidding. But this gives you an idea. I'm going to show you a map of this itinerary, Amsterdam to Basel, and the middle Rhine is right around the area where you see Koblenz and Rudolph. That's where the castles are. So most of our cruising is done at night so that you have all the days in the ports. But there are some areas where we do adjust the schedule so that you will be able to have some scenic cruising during the day. And this is one of those areas, that middle Rhine on middle Rhine on the Rhine Getaway cruise. That's where all those castles are, and there's about 40 of them. And so nothing better than sitting on the top deck of the ship, watching all these spectacular castles. And of course, we give narration while you're going by them. Another really popular AA, and this is the one that changed my life. I went on the Danube and had to change jobs because I loved it so much, is the romantic Danube, Budapest to Regensburg. And on this one, again, you can overnight in Budapest or Regensburg. We even go over to Prague if you'd like to go over to Prague for 3 nights. This includes an overnight in Vienna, and that's such a popular spot that we made that an overnight. And if you've never been to Budapest, it's a spectacular city. And you can't really see it here in this picture, but one side of the river is Buda, the other side of the river is Pest. So the side you're looking at there is Buda, the other side's Pest. And when they built the bridge that you can see here, that's called the Chain Bridge, it became one city. So it's just a really interesting city. We are docked right under that bridge. It's so easy to walk around. We, of course, give you a tour, but then you have free time and you can go see other areas there. And it's a beautiful spot to go to. Here's a map of the romantic Danube, Regensburg to Budapest, or vice versa. Now, just to give you an idea, on the Rhine and the Danube, since these are so popular, we have a lot of ships here. And so we have about, depending on the time of the year, around roughly 14 ships. So 7 go north, 7 go south. We kind of sail them in pairs. So there's more availability here, but it is also the most popular area. Now, if you can't decide between the Rhine and the Danube, we have the Grand European. And the Grand European is Amsterdam to Budapest. It's kind of a combination of the Rhine and the Danube together. And you can spend, of course, time in Amsterdam or time in Budapest at the end. We also overnight in Vienna on this, but there's also a lot of Germany in the middle. So it's a really beautiful itinerary. And just to give you an idea, so if you were looking at that 8-day Rhine, that one runs around, it starts at around 2,300 or so a person, and the air on that Rhine is $399, and it goes up from there. It just depends on what week you're on. And then if you do the Danube, as I was just showing you in the last one, that one starts around 2,200 depending on your week, and the air on that's $499 from most cities. Boston, New York, pretty much $499. But the Grand European, this one, I think one reason this gets so popular is because the air is free. So it sometimes makes sense to just do the Grand European, and that one, you know, the cruise part, depending on when you go and your category, of course. So the higher the category, the more it might be. Starts at about 3,900, but the air is free. So you have to make a determination on how long you want to go and what you want to see. Here's a nice map of that one. Another itinerary that's really popular is Paris and the heart of Normandy. And of course, we're round trip Paris. We're docked right in Paris. And we do go to Vernon and Rouen. And we, of course, have to go see where Monet was. And it's just spectacular. But we do spend an entire day at Normandy. And there is nothing more moving than going to Normandy. And you can add pre and post to this too if you'd like. And this one roughly starts around $2,000 and goes up, and air at about $399. Lyon in Provence. This is a beautiful southern France. So Lyon down to Avignon, beautiful ports. Lyon is a fabulous tiny little city that I just fell in love with. And there's great wine tasting on this one too. Another one is France's finest. Now this one's a combination of the Normandy and the southern France. So you'd start in Paris and do the whole Paris and Normandy, and then we connect you down and you go to Lyon and you then sail on that. So it's 2 cruises basically put together. Another great one is Châteaux, Rivers, and Wine. And this is kind of a favorite because it's wine tasting every day and beautiful chateaus. We have dinner in a chateau one night. So if you were interested in food and wine, this is really a lovely one. This itinerary, we only have one ship on this. So if you were interested in this, you would really want to book this one early. And we have some other itineraries in the Europe area. You know, we've got the tulips and windmills. That's a 10-day. That one's only in the spring. So it's about a 5-6 week window in the spring when the tulips are out. And it's 10 days round trip. So if that is something you were interested in, you would have to book that one really early because it's such a short window. Even though we have a lot of ships doing it, it's a real small window. Another favorite of mine is this Russia cruise. It's Moscow to St. Petersburg. So this is a 13-day. You use the ship the entire time. You're 4 days in Moscow and 4 days in St. Petersburg on the ends, but you use the ship the whole time. You get tours everywhere, and you do need a visa for this, but it is spectacular. This too has free air, and if you've never been, it is just one of those special trips going and seeing the Hermitage. If you've never been to the Hermitage, I grew up with a father who's an artist, so I've been to a lot of museums in my life. And when I walked into the Hermitage, I said, oh, now I get it, because it was so spectacular. And our owner's daughter, Karina Hagen, she is the one I told you is the pretty blonde in all our videos. She used to work there. So we have some extra privileges there that other people don't get because she worked there and we have these great connections there. So that's a beautiful itinerary. Some other itineraries, my number one all-time favorite is our China itinerary, which is a cruise tour. And there's so cultural and fascinating every single day. And of course you get to go beyond the Great Wall of China. We also do a school visit. We actually sponsor schools in China and Vietnam, and we take you in to see a school. So if any one of you out there was a school teacher, I can tell you that the school I went to, they had 55 kids to a classroom, and the teacher wore a microphone. And these were little kids. So it was just pretty fascinating to me. And then we also do Vietnam. That's a cruise tour, a very small ship, 33 staterooms. So you need to book that early. And the same thing with Egypt, that's 24 staterooms. So those are small ships, need to be booked really early. All right, now if you can't decide, between a river cruise and an ocean cruise, because we do have our ocean ships, which I'll talk about tomorrow, you can combine and do a river and ocean and combine them up. So do a Rhine cruise with a Baltic cruise. We have that available too. Now I thought I would show you the ships. We have a lot of ships, but they're all spread out. So they're all over the place and they're all small. But mostly in Europe, we have one class of ship, and that is the Viking Longship. Now, that doesn't mean it's necessarily longer, but if you can see that Viking ship in the top left corner, those were the old Viking ships from many years ago, and they were called longships. So it's a salute to our owner's heritage. You can only be so long, so big, so anything, because we go through a lot of canals in Europe, and so you can only be so big to do that. So these are the ships that you'll see on the Rhine, the Danube, all through France, and we have an Elbe River, we've got Portugal. Those ships are a tad smaller because the rivers are smaller, but they're basically the same as the long ships, just a few cabins less. So I just want to show you this. You can see it's 190 guests, 443 feet long, and 4 decks, which includes the top deck. And it's understated elegance. I feel that they're small, they're intimate, and they're really designed so travelers can connect with each other and with the destination. And there's light-filled open spaces. There's, as I said, no casino, none of that. And we have a lot of art and history and literature all around the ship. And relaxation is really key on our ships. And lots of light, beautiful woods, marbles, because it's a Scandinavian design. So that, of course, means nice clean lines, soft colors, beautiful woods, marbles, very beautiful. So the first picture I'll show you inside the ship is our guest service area. And if you've been on the big giant cruise ships with 6,000 people on it, this may look really small, but it is. And that's what we're all about. We're small and we don't need anything bigger than this. The next picture you'll see is our main staircase. This is it. We have 3 decks inside the ship, and right now the picture where we're at is kind of the second deck, the middle deck. And on the left and the right of the stairs are, you can see sliding glass doors. That's the entryway to the ship, depending on which side that we are docked on. And there's also an elevator that's on the right side behind those sliding glass doors, and it goes from deck 2 to 3. It cannot go to the deck 1, and it can't go to the top deck just because of the designs, but it goes from deck 2 to 3. And behind the stairs is where you'd see the restaurant, and above the stairs behind that painting is where the lounge is located. The next picture you'll see is the restaurant. And I really like this picture because it shows you how close you are to the side of the river. And it's very beautiful. This is where we do breakfast, lunch, dinner. So breakfast generally runs 7 to 9, lunch is 12 to 2, and dinner is 1 seating at 7 o'clock. We have waiter service. At breakfast, we do have an omelet station. If you want to go up and get something like that, or you want to go up and get a yogurt or something, you're welcome to do that, but the waiters are there to serve you. And then lunch, we have a menu, and then we even have some food that you can go up and help yourself with. And dinner everything is served by the waiters. We have no assigned seating either. Next, you'll see the lounge and the bar, and I mentioned that the wine and beer are included with lunch and dinner and soft drinks. But if you needed a drink at another time, we have a bar, and you can get a vodka, you can get a beer, you can get a soda, whatever you want to get there. They're open. If you don't like beer and wine, and let's just say you wanted a couple vodka drinks every night, it might be good for you to get the Silver Spirits package. Generally on an 8-day cruise that runs around 130, 140, depending on the euro, and that's it for the week, and that's an open bar. So I think that's really cheap, and it gives you just open bar, and you can not have to worry about what you're spending on other drinks if you just want something totally different than the beer and wine. This is a picture of the same lounge, just a different view of it. So we do have entertainment at night. It's not Blue Man Group, it's small entertainment. We sometimes bring entertainment on from the port. You can see on the left side is the piano, and we'll have a piano player and a singer. And if you look straight out the front of the ship, because we are looking forward here, that is the Aquavit Terrace, which I'll show you in a minute. And there's a little dance floor there on the right, so at nighttime a lot of people will want to get up and dance, have some fun. And this is the Aquavit Terrace, where you can sit outside and have breakfast, lunch, and dinner also. So you have a restaurant, and then you have the Aquavit Terrace to sit out. And this is our library. And then behind these seats that are right in front of us are computers. So there's laptop computers there, so you don't have to bring your computer all the way to Europe if you don't want to. And the Wi-Fi is included, so you don't have to worry about that either. The next picture you'll see is the top deck, the sun deck. There is nothing nicer than cruising through the middle Rhine, looking at these castles and all the beauty that you'll see here, and just sitting there relaxing with a soda or a glass of wine or a beer. It's just beautiful. And there's parts of it that are covered. You can sit under it or out in the sun, depends on the temperature, what you'd like to do. We have our own herb garden. Never know, we might run out of herbs. And there's a little mini putt there. My husband sent home pictures to his friends saying he was golfing in Europe. Next, we'll talk about the staterooms. So our staterooms, they're all patented because we have a specific design that no one else can copy. There's a lot of detail in the bedroom and the bath area. We've got king-size beds. We have all staterooms have refrigerators, safes. They have bottled water, flat screen TVs. We have all the hair products, hair dryers, and we have 110 and 220 plugs so that you don't have to worry about that unless you're going to a hotel pre or post. But on the ship, we have plenty of plugs for charging or whatever else you might need. And we have, again, Scandinavian design in the staterooms. And the amenities, we have luxury linens, and there's phone service there if you need it, but most people tend to use their cells now. And we have really great TV, actually, beautiful, great movies on the TV. So if you wanted to watch something like that. I'll show you some of the staterooms just to give you an idea of what we have. We only have 3 decks. So the bottom deck has a standard stateroom, which is 150 square feet. You have a window there, which actually has a ledge, so you have a shelf there, so you can even put some stuff there if you wanted to. The next you will see is the French balcony, and this means that you have floor-to-ceiling windows. The doors are sliding glass doors. You get the view, you get the air, you just can't step out because there's a railing there. Next, you see the veranda stateroom. This does have a full balcony, and you can sit out on your balcony and have morning coffee or whatever you'd like there. On the side of the ship, we have veranda suites. We have 7 of these on each side. They're 275 square feet. That gives you a bedroom, a living room, big bathroom, and there is a French balcony in the bedroom and a full balcony in the living room. Then you'll see a picture of that bathroom. And the last stateroom we have is the Explorer Suite. This is there's 2 of these. They're on the back of the ship, and they have a wraparound veranda. They are 445 square feet, and they have a very beautiful bathroom. Other itineraries are here. I think I've mentioned almost all of them. We have one that's Holland and Belgium. That's 10 days, Antwerp to Amsterdam. Very similar to the Tulip one that I was talking about early, but it also includes Germany and that one, so that's kind of neat. And a few of them, Paris to the Swiss Alps, Cities of Light, they include hotel stays on each end. So that is something else to consider also. And we do have the Christmas markets, if anyone wants to do that. The Christmas markets, if you've never heard of them in Europe, when it gets cold, they actually embrace that. I always whine about it, but they embrace it there and have these spectacular markets in the center of town. You've never seen decorations. The way they decorate is amazing. And then they have beautiful, everybody has like booths, and they sell Christmas items or other items there. And they also have glue wine. If you've never heard of glue wine, it is hot mulled wine. And that is, you can just stand there and drink that in town. And they serve it to you in a real mug, and you get to keep the mug, or you can go back and get a refill for less money and use the same mug. It's kind of nice. And so those usually start around November 20th and go right up to Christmas. And so you will see those really along the Rhine, the Danube. There's one here on the Elbe River, and a little bit there's some in Paris too. And then the other itineraries we've already mentioned. There's one that's called Roof of the World, which is the same as the China itinerary, but it has one more extension out to Tibet. So that sort of gives you an idea of where we go on the rivers, just to cover that. We do, as I talked about yesterday, we have the Mississippi opening up in 2022, and that is selling out really fast. I'm sorry to tell you that, but if anyone wanted to stay domestic, you could. We have the Great Lakes. That starts in 2022 also. Fabulous, brand new, gorgeous ships. If you wanted to plan your next trip soon and booked before May 31st, we have our risk-free guarantee. And this allows you to change your plan. So let's say you get up one morning and have a hangnail and don't want to go. That's okay. You have to cancel up to 24 hours before you depart. So if your cruise was leaving on a Saturday and you were flying out on Friday, you would have to let us know on Thursday, and you would then get a future cruise voucher to use within 24 months. But you have to be booked by May 31st. AAA has a member benefit for our Viking River itineraries in Europe. So 8 to 13 day cruises is $125 a person shipboard credit. 14 days or longer cruises are $200 a person shipboard credit. What that means, you can use that for gratuities. You could use it for that Silver Spirits package. If you wanted to take an optional tour. In Vienna at night, we have an optional, which is a Mozart and Strauss concert. And that you could put this towards that. So that's sort of the way you can use that if you'd like to, but by booking with AAA, you would get that. And now I think Meg and Stacy may get back on.
Yes, thank you so much, Donna. I definitely know where my next vacation will be, and I am very excited for it. I can't wait to call my agent as soon as this is over.
Okay.
So I'll give it a few more minutes for some last minute questions to roll in. Just as a reminder, you can click that little Q&A section. So those two little chat box with the question marks on it in the lower right hand side of your screen. Feel free to type in any questions that you may have and we can get those answered for you. One of the most asked questions that we receive is why book with AAA? Booking with AAA has so many benefits. We save you time and money. We're able to leverage our relationships that we have with our preferred partners to offer you those member benefits, just like Donna had just mentioned. We're here to give you travel tips and destination recommendations customized to where you're traveling to. There's no hassle or stress when you work with us. And if something goes wrong, we have you covered. The best part of working with a travel agent is that it's a part of your membership. There's no additional cost to you to use our incredible travel experts. So it really is the best decision that you can make when you're making your travel plans. Our travel agents are always here for you. They're always available. We have many ways to connect you with them. Following this, in the upcoming days, your travel agent will reach out to you just to answer any remaining questions that you may have, or to help get you started on planning what is sure to be an unforgettable vacation with Viking. You can also call the number that's listed here on your screen to get connected with an agent. You can go to our website at AAA.com to chat or set up an appointment, or you can email us at the email address on the screen as well, and we'll connect you directly with an agent. So it does look like we have a couple of questions in here. One question said, how far in advance do you think that I should book for a European river itinerary? Donna, I'm going to pass that over to you.
Okay, I would say 2021 is about almost 70% sold out already. We've opened up 2022 already, just because we felt like we needed to have some space for everyone. But so I would say a minimum of a year out, a minimum. So most of the time, the rule of thumb is a year and a half. The difference is, if you're used to cruising, let's say Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, any of those companies that have big, giant 5,000 passenger ships, there's always a cabin. Our ships are so small, which is one reason you want to go, but that means they sell out earlier. So you really need to think a whole different mindset than maybe something that you've been doing in the past. So therefore, I would say a year and a half if you can, but a year at the minimum, because that would then you probably wouldn't get what you wanted.
Yeah, and I think especially with the risk-free guarantee going on right now through May 31st, it's the best time to make that decision.
Yeah, don't book on June 1st.
Right.
That would be ridiculous.
I would agree with you, Donna. I agree. The next question coming in says, is there a member benefit when you book with AAA? That's a wonderful question. So I know we briefly talked about that. Yep. So on the European river itineraries, if you book an 8 to a 13. Oh, thank you so much.
There it is. I just
perfect. So
Yeah.
if you're on an 8 to 13 day sailing, it's $125 per person and a shipboard credit. If you're on a 14 day or longer sailing, it's $200 per person. That's incredible. That's an incredible value,
Right.
you know, for working with us. That's a great question. The next question coming in says, do you need to reserve your shore excursions in advance? And if so, how early can you begin to reserve them?
You don't have to, but why not? The included ones, which is the tour of the city or town you're in, I mean, there's always enough space on the river ships for those. But if you wanted something special, like let's say the concert in Vienna, you would need to do that before you departed. So I would say do that, you know, as early as you can. And usually I would say you can book those. We generally put them on the site we start putting them on the site about a year out generally. And so therefore you can start booking those then. Even the included ones, I always say, just sign up for it anyway. Why not?
Perfect. It's a very good question.
Right.
Stacy, one other question we had come through. It says, if booking a 2022 cruise, when is final payment due?
That depends on, usually they're due a year in advance for the European river cruises, generally.
Perfect. And then we have one more question as well. Do you have any accommodations for triples and quads?
No. Sorry. Simple answer, no. Sorry about that, we don't.
No. It's a good question. It's always good to know that.
Right.
All right, so it looks like that's all of the questions that we have for tonight. Like I said, our travel agents will follow up with you, you know, if you have any other remaining questions, and listed on your screen now are all the ways that you can connect with us, and we'd be more than happy to answer any specifics for you. I wanted to thank Donna again for giving us a glimpse into those awesome itineraries and ships. We really appreciate you being here with us, Donna.
Thank you.
I also just want to thank you all for spending some of your evening with us. As Meg stated earlier, this is the second part of a 3-part virtual series with Viking. We will host Viking again tomorrow at 1 o'clock for a webinar focusing on ocean cruises. So if you are interested, please come back and check that out. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope you all have a great night.
Thanks, everyone.